Today we are comparing two different perspectives on Stoicism. The first claims that Stoicism is repressive and life-denying, while the other argues that Stoicism is the most helpful tool to understand ourselves and keep our peace of mind. Both perspectives agree with a few key points. Stoicism teaches that some things are within our control and some things aren't. The sooner we can figure out which is which, the sooner we can progress towards freedom from worry. The universe is not on our side. It comes at us indiscriminately. Once it clicks with a would-be Stoic that externals are not where we should be focusing our energy, then we can turn exclusively towards what we can control. Internals, as Epictetus calls them, include our thoughts, judgments, feelings, aversions, attractions, and reactions. The author of this first essay, Why I Am Not a Stoic, eventually diverges from this overall agreement. She has three main reasons why Stoicism doesn't work for her. First, Stoicism is difficult to uphold. She admits that she simply can't live up to Stoicism's perfectionist ethical demands, such as those embodied in their idealist depictions of the sage, an imaginary, holy, wise, virtuous human being. Number two, Stoicism favors acceptance rather than action. She writes, "The world I live in is sexist, ageist, racist, homophobic, and generally unfriendly. It's hardly unchangeable, though, and I want to do more than just endure it. I feel responsible for improving my society, not just finding a way to not let it break me." Third, she feels that Stoicism has been warped into a self-help capitalist mindset that lacks any depth. After falling out of love with Stoicism, she began to resonate more with the existentialists' views on life. They seem to have a more empathetic view of sadness, anger, grief, depression, and anxiety. This author says that she has stopped marking dark moments as failures and began to view suffering and disorientation as holy when allowed to be expressed, since they reveal truths that are within all of us. In light of these criticisms, a second author responds with an essay called Why I Am a Stoic. We can formulate his response as direct answers to her criticisms. Stoicism is too difficult to maintain, but what of her charge that it is very difficult to be a Stoic? For such would involve being a good friend, a good parent, a good teacher, a good colleague, a good citizen, and citizen of the world. It's not always to look yourself in the mirror in such a demanding light. It was Socrates who said we should be tough on ourselves and generous to others. The Stoics unabashedly adopted this Socratic ethical stance, but it is still one I think worth striving for today. After all, many of the most extraordinary things people do are hard. Number two, Stoicism lacks action. At the heart of Stoicism is this idea of the dichotomy of control. The things outside of our control are externals. They can be called beneath good and evil for the Stoics. Having such desirable material wealth or other people's approval won't make us happy, but neither are all people who face adversities and unpleasant challenges unhappy. It's all about what you do with what you have and don't have for the Stoics. The wise person can be happy regardless of their circumstances. This doesn't, however, say that you shouldn't completely give up on trying to change your circumstances or trying to change the world. It's simply that if we try to control everything, we're doomed to be unhappy. It's better to learn to focus on what we can control and direct our energies to changing that day by day. And criticism number three is that Stoicism has warped. Well, this one the author actually agrees on. The idea that Stoicism as a whole is only about surviving in an awful world, or meant only to increase your competitiveness in the capitalist marketplace, is misleading. The Stoics were eudaimonists. That is, they were philosophers whose goal was human well-being and happiness. Like all Greek philosophers, they believed that the natural world was no alien, torturous place to live in. Nature, as they understood it, was generally furnished us with everything we need to be happy, including innate development inclinations to flourish as rational, social beings. The Stoics believed all human beings are brothers and sisters. We are born with natural fellow feeling, whose purest expression is the selfless love of parents for their children, a love we see also in other species. The ethical and spiritual task as we grow is to develop our reason and the strengths of our character so that we can expand the natural circles of our concern, so that ultimately these take in all human beings in the wider world. The popular Stoic stuff on what we call self-improvement is framed in the ancient sources within this larger physics. The linking idea is that while we can't control others, it is possible to cultivate strengths we can assist others with and societies at large to become wiser and more harmonious. A person who is overcome by anxiety, stress, anger, or sadness, by contrast, does not have the largeness of soul to reliably prioritize these greater goods over his or own passing needs. The Stoics sought to provide us with reasoned resources which might allow us to be somewhat less distraught and broken when faced with the hard reality of life. They taught moderation, realizing that material goods and public praise will not deliver you the happiness you're craving. Instead, flourishing must come from within you, and the opinions you form concerning the things that ceaselessly come and go from your life. Me personally, I still find a lot of value with the Stoic philosophy, but I understand why it wouldn't work for some people. I first and foremost think that building rather than inheriting a philosophy is important, and so I wouldn't expect anyone to be completely in agreement with one philosophy. They should be assembling and taking pieces of a whole range of spiritual and philosophical traditions to assemble one that makes sense for them. This has been an analysis on 2 different perspectives on Stoicism. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.